But we cannot simply sit here and stare at our wounds forever. Haruki Murakami. The fist-size pump. A thou? You think my heart is only worth a thou? I'll have you know that this is a good heart, and by good I don't mean it's kind or gracious, but a strong heart. I exercise daily, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I get enough sleep, I don't have any diseases, and I do my best to eat healthy. My heart probably has another 30 or 40 years in it. It's definitely worth more than a thou, I snapped at Dan, appalled by his underestimation of my heart's worth. I said an easy thou, meaning you can get more for it, Dan said, trying to sound serious, but stifling a laugh by pressing his paper coffee cup to his lips. I can tell that he was secretly enjoying my frustration. We were sitting on a stone bench at Wade Oval, a little park just outside Cleveland's Museum of Art, a tranquil pond surrounded by trees. Early October. We felt a sudden chill in the breeze. We crossed our arms, tucked in our shoulders, and pressed our legs together, the leaves turning crimson like a bloody wound, slowly expanding on trees. We've been planning to go to the museum together for months, but the virus was a concern. Now that the pandemic doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon, we decided to just go. When I look at it, I think of shame and denying one's own human desires, I said. We stood for more than half an hour admiring a painting by American artist Jared French titled Evasion. I don't know if that's what I see, Dan said. For me, those two figures at the back are what attract my attention, how they're evading each other's space, the awkwardness of their position, the narrowness of the space in which they're moving, almost like the artist is saying, you can be either or, but you can't have it both ways. Yeah, he could be saying that too, I said, but I think all the male figures portray the same man, the artist, and he's ashamed of his bisexuality. Look how he doesn't want the viewer to see his reflection in that mirror, and look at how he covers his genitals here with his head bowed down. So to me, it feels like it can be about self-acceptance or social acceptance and the shame surrounding bisexuality. I mean, he did paint it in the 70s and things were different back then. At the pond, the excitement of all the artistic inspiration slowly seeped out of us. We were tired and cold. The pandemic had killed over 200,000 people. California and Oregon were on fire. Russian, Chinese, and Iranian bots were interfering in the 2020 American elections. Tomorrow, we will hear on the news that the president, who had downplayed the virus and called it a hoax, has contracted it and had come to Cleveland carrying COVID-19 to debate his opponent and caused a wider spread of the virus in Ohio. But this hasn't happened yet. There was a wedding on the white marble steps leading to the museum. A photographer was taking pictures. The bride, in a traditional white dress and a veil draping down her back. The groom, in a black tux. 4 bridesmaids in plum-colored maxi dresses, and 4 groomsmen in black suits, fanning outwards up the steps behind them. They put their masks back on after the photo shoot. I'll always remember this, I thought. A bride, a groom, and wedding guests wearing face masks. Ugh, it's such bad taste to get married when so many people are dying, I said, sipping on my pumpkin spice latte. But they're in love, Dan said in his good-natured tone. They can be in love without getting married, I said grumpily. True, Dan just laughed. You know what I feel when I see people getting married? Sad. I feel sad that two people are going to see every expectation they have of each other crushed. Crushed! I said passionately. It's brutal, Dan said, smiling, shaking his head. As far as I'm concerned, a wedding is two people deciding to destroy each other's lives. Completely destroy each other's lives. But wait, they're not going to do it quietly. No, they're going to invite their friends and their family. Come along, they'll say. Come watch us destroy each other's lives. Dress up. Bring gifts. We'll provide the food and the expensive drinks. Dan laughed, nodded, and said, Yeah, but it's nice when married couples are in love and happy. And I hated him for it. This optimism, that he couldn't just join me in my bitterness, in my sarcasm, in my cynicism, and my deep, dark, and dry saltiness. Who is happily married? No one is happily married. Some people may tolerate each other's shit, but that's not being happily married. Love begins to fade away as soon as the sex dries up, and then all you're left with is resentment and unfulfillment and the getting on each other's nerves, and people just keep doing it because they're afraid of being alone. Dan looked too attentive, and I knew he wasn't listening anymore. They would be beautiful photos, I thought, as the wedding party dispersed abruptly once the photographer left. With the neoclassical, white Georgian marble building of the museum in the background, and the dreamy fountains, and the romantic bronze sculptures, and the nostalgic feel in the air of early autumn, the trees mellow and golden. But there are limits to our hearts, I thought. They are not robust machines. There are limits to the emotional work these fist-sized pumps can endure, tireless in their beating. You can't overload them. You can't stretch them too far. They won't abide. They will break. Dan and I, both carrying the weight of failed marriages, both terrified of trying again, me hardened and unyielding in my disappointment, but Dan somehow kept his softness. There was still a pink, healthy spot inside him that will save him, I hope. Two mallards glided along the pond, ribbons of dark water in their wake, affectionate and demonstrative, the male bobbing its head to the female, then swimming in circles around her, and I felt my heart ache a little.